Hi everyone, so we're here now. Our topic is Renaissance architecture. Dignity and formality through symmetry, as we'll go through the characteristics of the design. You will notice some features that are pretty significant that were introduced during this period that are still being used up until now. So Renaissance started from 14th century, which is the late Gothic period, then up to around 17th century till it peaked. So it is from the word rinascere, which means again and be born, or rinascimento. I mean, so it is an Italian, or it is from Italy, basically. Then it is, or it falls between the medieval period and industrial, or the medieval periods were from the from Romanesque to Gothic, then evolving into or in between the periods where society is being developed. So during the Industrial Revolution, so ito na yung part wherein commerce is coming, or commerce has been started. So people are starting to learn more about living. So, or natututunan na nila magkaroon ng mga professions, career, mga trabaho, aside from the basic way to live before, yung farming, pangingisda, and other stuff. So the birthplace of Renaissance is in Florence, and here are the affected areas, or here are the influences of Renaissance to parts of Europe. So from Spain, France, England, so Italy of course as the main area. And it is like the revival and development of certain elements from the medieval times or ancient times, which are Greek and Roman. And apart from what I've mentioned before, so Germany and Russia is also it's also influenced with this design. So as stated here, different dates with varying degrees of impact, because some of the styles were more of a trend, or some of other period that we tackled before. The first ones, Gothic and Romanesque, are has bigger impact, or some other styles were introduced during this era or this period, which will be shown as we go further to our presentation. So the plan, here's a section and a plan of Basilica of San Andrea. So this is by Alberti, which will be discussed later. So the plan is usually square or rectangular with symmetrical proportions. So ito yung isa sa pinaka significant sa kanya is mas may kita mo yung symmetry niya because of the patterns that were used, or mas mindful sila ngayon sa portions of the structure, sa span, structural as well. And again, they're still into making structures that are larger than the usual, that can accommodate many people, and that is that looks lighter than the old periods of architecture. So ayun, this is how they made it look lighter and larger. So with this section we have arches, and most arches from our previous developments, or the churches or cathedrals in Gothic and Romanesque have different sections, or usually divided into three sections: the arcades, the triforium, and the clerestory, right? So here, the arches are directly, or are taller, or they are supported by piers or larger columns, and usually have capitals, maybe simpler or maybe complex. So as you see from this sample image, meron na tayong mga nakikitang parang paano ba to? Base of design na applicable na rin sa typical residence or typical structures. So basically yun nga, ito na yung tinatawag na early modern times, wherein nagiging simple na yung mga portions of a structure based from their structural purpose as well, and different kind of art appreciation, of course. So again, arches with supported by large piers or large columns, and those columns always has a capital, and ito ang tinatawag na line na to is cornice. So tuloy-tuloy yan. So dyan connected na yung capital ng isang column. So capitals will be discussed next. So another thing we have is our vaults. So kung napapansin nyo na with this one, it looks like a barrel vault, but not exactly like one. Meron pa rin siyang main support sa bawat ends, pero ito na yung modern na ginagamit natin na type of structural, and these vaults do not have ribs, and it is still usually semicircular or segmental, but the design is different. So ito na yung tinatawag nating coffered ceiling. So this way of designing has two advantages. First is that it makes the materials go lighter, so hindi na kailangang buhatin yung buong mass. So you can use different materials that are, or that must not be too massive. So nakakatulong siya sa aesthetics as well, and it helps the structural to be stable. So yung ceiling, which are called coffered ceiling, so each spaces nag-scrape ka ng mga parts niya, which made it lighter. And yun nga, during this time, a lot of different materials are introduced and are being used. So evolution of construction or innovation, kumbaga. So this coffered ceiling usually have paintings or some decorations, some sculptures. And okay, this is Italy, so maraming mga sikat na painters na matatakel dito na I'm sure na may idea kayo sa kanila. Next, the doors have the usual lintel beams na tinatawag. So ito yan. So doors and windows, I mean, aside from that. So we have the lintel beams. Lintel beams are, or the term lintel beam is still being used to our construction. So inside the details of its openings, meron tayong mga lintel beam na mainly nagsusupport ng mga kumbaga nung openings na yun. Then so another term na nabanggit dito is mannerism or mannerist period, which will be discussed. It is also introduced during these times. And we have the columns or the orders or the capitals that are being used or integrated sa sa period na to, which are the Tuscan, Doric, Ionic, Corinthian, and Composite. So these are the Roman orders. Originally, the Greek has these three: Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian. However, the Romans copied it and they introduced their own, or they added their own. Next, the dome. So kung mapapansin nyo, ang shape niya is like an eggshell or egg shape. And with this, so different materials, innovations in the structural design, and lighter roofing or lighter building shell. So kumbaga dito mas naging thinner ang structural, which made it look, kumbaga yung scale niya much better looking, not as massive as the usual. Kumbaga mas maraming space ang natitira sa loob, sa interior, dahil dun sa innovation na to, and as well as kumbaga introduce na ng mabuti dito yung framing sa bawat roofing and bawat domes. Then we have the walls, which are, or the exterior walls, which are usually laid with stones and bricks, and generally has a finished ashlar masonry or so yun yung arrangement ng ng bawat stones, which has coins na tinatawag. So ang coins, it is the end brick or masonry material na nag-terminate or just to or inserted just to keep the pattern or to support the end lap, or I will discuss it on the next terms or characteristics. However, again, so bricklaying, so meron tayong, kumbaga nakikita natin yung kumbaga ito yung mas gamit na, or from medieval times gamit na siya. However, what you can notice from each of levels is meron silang iba-ibang textures. So you see the term rusticated here. So that is one of the most used term for this kind of structures, or as well as our structures here in Pampanga, which is, for example, na lang yung church, yung Holy Rosary Parish. So what you call that finish is rustic, or it has rustication, and it is a popular treatment to masonry walls to make it more textured, so para mas meron kang feel dun sa finish na, instead of laying it flat or trying to hide it. So kung before gusto nilang nakikita parang flat or parang plastered, with this one they let it have different, kumbaga, levels. So as you can see with this photo, so kung may mga nakaangat man, that's fine with them. So then may floor na flat, then may floor na halos or mas maliit yung mga stones na ginamit. kumbaga, with this, grooves are also being used or being integrated to the design. So, a little, kumbaga, modern, mix of modern. So, aside from that, sa facade, usually symmetrical, and kung meron man tower, mainly positioned siya or ano siya, nakahiwalay siya. Remember yung yung Pisa Cathedral? So, ayun. Most of it is or mainly designed as symmetrical. And each or usually churches has pediments, so ito yan. And some system of pilasters, which are this 4 main supports. So basically, nandun yung typical characteristics from older. However, nag-integrate sila ng bagong way. Pero mas makikita natin to sa mga domestic buildings, which are yun nga yung mga apartments, apartment house, or any structures na mas nagagamit na ng mga tao for either for living, for their daily work, or for their daily living. And ayun, so we have the cornice. So ito yung kind of extruded with groove or with different layer na nakikita natin usually sa mga ceilings ngayon or sa mga corridors or some platforms. So in order to form, or kumbaga kasi the design is very repetitive, very balanced. So in order to break the monotony of the design, ginagamit nila tong horizontal element, kumbaga, to give a different approach to design. So the reason behind that is ayun nga, to break the monotony. Then also additional, kumbaga, it also gives a different marking to create different sections or patterns of each structure. Aside from that, nakakatulong din siya sa levels of each floors. Next, we have the coins. So ito yung mga end stones or external corner stones, or these are used in the edge. Kumbaga, kasi syempre ang paglay ng mga stones or bricks is different. So may staggering arrangement siya, kumbaga, 'di ba, alternating. So in order to kumbaga give that, yan, kumbaga yung end stone na yun, end brick na yun, siya yung nagtutuloy para dun sa pattern. So here's the coin and here's the cornice. So sometimes they are cladding, but most of the time they are full stones. So kumbaga, this illustration is just to give an idea sa kung paano siya nililay. So here's an example of that coin. So this one is just ornamental, pero meron siyang tulong for structural. So here's the cornice. So these are moldings and usually decorative with different kumbaga, different levels or layers. And ayun, parang siyang yung mga end ng, or parang siyang mga gutter. Imagine a gutter with different lines and grooves. So kumbaga, for them during this time, ayun, may tinatawag tayong mga recessed and extruded. So recessed is ibig sabihin lay flat, and extruded is naka-push palabas. And during this time, ang mga ito ay kumbaga, very well studied, kumbaga minamaster, kumbaga another profession to give complexity sa design. And take note na lang sa mga names which are written, and mas marami pang types of cornices na introduce aside from that. So okay, so here are the base ones. So we have the caveto, sima recta, astragal, which are facing downward. So kumbaga pang ceiling siya. Bead, fillet, ovolo, so sima reversa. So sima recta and sima reversa are basically, ayun nga, reversed one, pinagpalit lang. Then reading, so these are reeds, scotia, and toro. So each of these has different purposes or different ways to be used. So some of them are for ceiling, some of them are for portions of ground or leveling, minsan sa capital, minsan sa midsection. So ayun, each of them has their own purpose and has a bigger reason kung bakit sila used sa mga ganong parts. Next, we have the egg and dart. So ito na yung mga typical na nakikita natin with circular and these pointy parts. So usually that egg and dart were used, yun nga, with repetitive patterns, and gamit sila dun sa mga dentils. Ito yun. So ito yun. And sometimes sa capital din gamit ang egg and dart. Next, we have the watermills. So watermills are used with a saw, or ito yung pinaka-tool na ginagamit in order to saw timbers and convert trees into planks. So ayun nga. So basically, these are geared kung bakit nakikita natin sa mga old movies. If you're interested with that, or kung napapansin nyo yun sa mga palabas, even in cartoons, they always have this kind of tool. So the main purpose of this is yun nga, to cut different types of materials that usually made out of wood. Then aside from that, construction materials that were introduced as well are stone, marble, terracotta tile, and stucco. So yun nga, a mortar mixture. So yan na yung parang pinaka-plaster na tinatawag. However, a stucco is a different kind of finish na mayroon pa siyang mga parang speckles, because during that time wala pa silang pang flatten nung mortar. So on the next one, we'll tackle about the phases of Renaissance architecture in each countries as well. So malaking effect nito from different parts of Europe kasi may mga na-introduce dito. So first of or take note of this first. So early Renaissance is Quattrocento, high Renaissance is Proto-Baroque. So ito na yung Baroque period na tinatawag. So we have the Mannerism, and dyan nag-improve na yung, kumbaga, na-coin na as Baroque period yung late Renaissance. Then we have the Rococo, which is a different kind of Renaissance architecture at a part of France, and also influence a lot of places, and also a certain culture or a certain maybe religion as well.